Imagine waking up one day in the life you once begged for. The job title you dreamed about is printed neatly under your name. The bank account is stable. The apartment looks like something you saved on a vision board years ago. People congratulate you, they admire you, some even envy you. You've made it. So why does your chest feel hollow? Why, in the quiet moments when the applause fades and the notifications slow down, does a strange restlessness creep in? A low, persistent whisper that says, "This isn't it." You try to silence it. Maybe you need a bigger goal, a better house, more recognition. Maybe success just needs to scale. You tell yourself that fulfillment is simply one achievement away, one more milestone, one more promotion, one more breakthrough. But what happens when you reach that too? The hunger returns, stronger. It's unsettling, isn't it? The idea that you can climb every mountain you once believed would complete you and still feel incomplete at the summit. You were taught a simple equation: effort plus ambition equals happiness. Work hard, win, and you will feel whole. Society worships this formula. It celebrates the exhausted entrepreneur, the overachieving student, the endlessly productive professional. The message is clear: more success, more worth. But what if worth and success were never the same thing? Why does achievement feel intoxicating in the moment, yet strangely empty afterward? Why does the victory high fade so quickly, leaving you scanning the horizon for the next conquest? Why do some of the most outwardly successful people privately wrestle with anxiety, depression, or a vague sense of meaninglessness? There's a paradox here that no one talks about openly. The very thing you chased to feel enough may be the reason you never do. Success gives you validation. It gives you status. It gives you proof that you matter in the eyes of the world. But when the world turns away, when the spotlight shifts, what remains? Strip away the applause. Remove the metrics. Forget the numbers, the praise, the comparisons. Who are you without them? If that question makes you uncomfortable, you're not alone. Because perhaps the hunger you feel isn't for more success. Perhaps it's for something success was never designed to provide. Think about the moments after you achieved something big. For a few hours or maybe a few days, you felt powerful, elevated, alive. Then gradually, almost invisibly, your baseline returned. The excitement dulled, the satisfaction normalized, and a subtle emptiness slipped back in. Why does the mind adapt so quickly to what once felt extraordinary? Why does yesterday's dream become today's ordinary? Is it possible that you've been feeding the wrong appetite? There's a deeper craving beneath ambition, a craving that trophies can't touch, a hunger that titles can't silence. And the more you try to satisfy it with external victories, the more insatiable it becomes. You may tell yourself you're just driven, that you have high standards, that you refuse to settle. But what if that drive is fueled by something darker? A fear of being insignificant, a terror of being unseen, a quiet belief that without achievement you disappear. What if your ambition is not purely inspiration, but compensation? Compensation for what? For the parts of you that feel unworthy without proof. For the old voice that whispered you weren't enough unless you performed. For the emptiness that success temporarily distracts you from confronting. And here is the most dangerous question of all. If you finally achieved everything you wanted and the hunger still remained, what would you do then? Would you double down and chase harder? Or would you dare to look inward and ask whether the problem was never a lack of success, but a misunderstanding of what you truly needed? Because if success cannot feed this hunger, then something else must. But to discover what that is, you must first confront an uncomfortable truth. This hunger did not appear by accident. It was shaped, conditioned, reinforced. And unless you understand where it came from, you will keep trying to fill a spiritual void with material victories. So before we talk about breaking free, we need to step into the shadows of your ambition and ask what's really driving it. The hunger you feel did not begin the day you achieved success. It began much earlier, long before the job title, before the awards, before anyone ever clapped for you. It began the first time you realized that love could be conditional. As a child, you learned something subtle but powerful. Approval feels good. Praise feels safe. Achievement earns attention. Perhaps you brought home a good grade and watched your parents' faces light up. Perhaps you were praised for being responsible, strong, talented, intelligent. Slowly, invisibly, a pattern formed. I am valued when I perform. No one had to say it directly, you absorbed it through repetition. Over time, performance fused with identity. You are no longer simply existing, you were proving your intelligence, proving your competence, proving your worth. And if worth must be proven, it can never fully rest. This is where the hunger begins. The Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung spoke of the persona, the social mask we create to navigate the world. The persona is not fake, but it is selective. It is the version of you that earns admiration, avoids rejection, and fits expectations. If you were rewarded for achievement, your persona became the achiever, the ambitious one, the competent one, the one who never stops climbing. But Jung warned that when we over-identify with the persona, we lose contact with the deeper self, the parts of us that are uncertain, vulnerable, playful, or simply enough without performance become buried in the shadow. And here lies the tension. Your external success may strengthen your persona while starving your inner self. The more the world applauds your mask, the harder it becomes to remove it. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche wrote about the will to power, the fundamental drive to expand, overcome, and assert oneself. Ambition in this sense is natural, it is life pushing outward. But Nietzsche also warned of a society that creates herd values, standards of success that everyone chases without questioning. What if the ladder you've been climbing was never yours? What if your hunger isn't a desire for growth, but a desire for validation within a system that equates achievement with identity? Modern culture amplifies this confusion. From an early age, you are measured. Grades, rankings, salaries, followers, productivity, everything becomes quantifiable. Even rest feels guilty unless it is earned. Aldous Huxley imagined a world in which people were conditioned to pursue shallow pleasures and constant stimulation to avoid confronting deeper existential questions. In many ways, we live in that world now. Success becomes a socially approved distraction, a glamorous escape from the terrifying question, who am I without this? Then there's the voice of Arthur Schopenhauer, who argued that human desire is endless. The moment one wish is fulfilled, another arises. He described life as a pendulum swinging between striving and boredom. When you strive, you suffer because you lack. When you achieve, you become restless because the tension that gave you purpose disappears. Notice how this plays out in your own life. When you are chasing something, you feel energized, even if stressed. There is direction, meaning, movement. But when you finally reach it, a strange flatness emerges. Without the chase, who are you? The hunger returns because the chase itself was masking a deeper emptiness. Existentialist philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre argued that human beings are condemned to be free. There is no predefined essence dictating who you are. You must choose, you must create yourself, and that freedom is terrifying. Achievement offers temporary relief from that terror. It gives structure. It tells you who you are, doctor, founder, leader, expert. It narrows the infinite possibilities of existence into a defined identity. But beneath those labels, the existential question remains unresolved. And so the hunger persists. There's also a cognitive mechanism at play, what modern neuroscience calls hedonic adaptation. Your brain is designed to normalize improvement. A higher salary quickly becomes the new baseline. A larger audience feels ordinary after a few weeks. The dopamine spike of achievement fades, and your nervous system returns to equilibrium. This is not a flaw, it is survival wiring. But when you mistake dopamine for fulfillment, you become trapped in an endless loop. Achieve, adapt, feel empty, chase more. Achieve, adapt, feel empty, chase more. And beneath it all is a deeper wound. The belief that without achievement you are invisible. Perhaps you were once overlooked. Perhaps you were compared to others. Perhaps you internalized the idea that love must be earned through excellence. If that belief still lives in you, no amount of success will feel sufficient, because you are not trying to win, you are trying to heal. And trophies cannot heal abandonment. Titles cannot heal shame. Applause cannot heal invisibility. They can only distract from that. This is the hidden problem. Your hunger is not for more success, it is for unconditional worth. And until you confront that, you will keep feeding yourself accomplishments while starving the deeper need to simply be. But what happens when this hunger goes unexamined for years, decades even? What happens when an entire society is driven by this restless pursuit? The consequences are quieter than you think, and far more dangerous. The most dangerous consequences don't announce themselves with catastrophe. They arrive quietly, like a subtle shift in posture, a constant tightness in the jaw, a Sunday evening anxiety you can't quite explain. They settle into your nervous system and call themselves normal. When the hunger for success becomes your primary fuel, it rewires how you see the world. Every interaction becomes a comparison, every opportunity